me about literally generating leads using webinars. And so I have some notes that I want to use because I want to make sure that I go over the content to the best of my ability for you all. So regardless of where you are joining me from, super excited to be here with each and every single last one of you. Let me close out my Slack for a second because I don't like to have stuff in the background. But as you guys are joining, my name is DeKesha Williams, your virtual COO. Super excited to be here. If this is the first time that you are hearing the sound of my voice, please comment in the chat below and let me know that you're joining me. I always like to know who you are, where you're from, and what it is that you do. Reason being is you never know who's on the video that you can connect with. So, all right, so let's get started because I don't have a lot of time and there's a lot of information that I want to share with you. So number one, thanks for joining. Number two, super excited to be here. It's been a very long time since I've done a live stream video, but all right, enough of that. My name is DeKesha, your virtual COO, also hashtag webinar queen. So I am all things webinars, and I'll tell you why in just a little bit. But first and foremost, one of the things that I want you to understand is the reason that webinars are super important, right? You've heard of webinars, you've heard of master classes, you've heard of online trainings, all that stuff. At the end of the day, whenever anyone is inviting you into a training that is not on a live stream platform, 9 times out of 10, I think it can be classified as a webinar. All right. And the purpose of your webinar is to educate your prospect. And I need you to type that in the comments. The purpose of the webinar is for you to educate your prospect, the person that is interested in utilizing your services. Your job is to educate them. Let me explain to you. When people buy, when they purchase online, there's a process that we all go through. Does this make sense to anybody? Like, do you agree with this, right? So when we know that we want to invest in someone, when we know that we want to invest in a program, there's a process that we go through. We start to study. We start to study the person. We start to follow the person on social media. We jump on their live streams. We're in their IG. We're paying attention to their stories. This is actually considered to be the awareness phase. So one of the things that I tell my students and I tell my clients all the time, I use live stream for awareness and I use webinars for conversion. If you don't hear anything else I say to you today, I need you to write that down. I use live stream for awareness and I use webinars for conversion. And I know that so many people are afraid of using a webinar platform. They're afraid that people will not show. Can I share with you like the average participation on any given webinar is about maybe 50 to 100 people, like realistically speaking. And when I say average, I'm talking about people who do not necessarily have a large following. So if you don't necessarily have a large following, then, having 50 people on your webinar is not super strange. All right. And to be honest with you, if this is the first time that you're hosting a webinar and no one is showing, baby, we've all been there. Like there's been times where I've asked some of my business besties, hey, listen, I'm doing a training today. Would you mind jumping on so I'm not talking to myself? Okay. So when you're just starting out, sometimes you do have to do that. Like you got to put somebody in the audience because the way that you deliver changes when you know that someone's watching versus if I knew that no one was watching and I was just sitting here talking monotone. Come on now. Okay. So there is an anatomy of how we purchase, regardless whether we purchase online, regardless whether we're purchasing a house, regardless of whether we're purchasing courses, products, whatever it is. So the first phase is an awareness phase, right? These are clubhouse rooms, live streams. Email marketing is even considered to be a nurture sequence, content marketing. Anybody still do blogs, podcasts? These are all awareness strategies. These are all marketing strategies that you could be using. You actually could be using these same strategies to drive traffic to your webinar. I just gave y'all a marketing strategy, a couple of them, to be honest with you, okay? Now, the second thing is the consideration phase. Consideration is basically, this is the phase once they've opted in. Does everyone have a lead magnet? Comment below if you have a lead magnet. I need to know kind of like where you guys are. So if you have a lead magnet, you just type yes, or, raise your hand and let me know that you have a lead magnet. And the lead magnet it's your consideration phase. Like they've actually, here we go. I was looking for my video. Sorry. I want to make sure that I don't hear it. So your lead magnet, that means that they raised their hand. They raised their hand and they said that they're interested in whatever it is that you have, whatever product or services that you have. They've raised their hand if they've opted into your lead magnet. So now, whether you know it or not, you're in the consideration phase. Well, what does that mean, DeKesha? That means that they are actually considering investing in you. Ooh-wee. That means that they're actually considered investing in you, right? So I've opted in. I'm on your text message list. I'm in your mini chat list. I am on your email list. So I'm getting all of your information. And if you are smart, if you are wise, you would be utilizing all three to stay in communication with your audience. Let me rewind that in case you missed it. If you are wise, you would not only rely on email to stay in the conversation, because email only has an 18% open rate. Somebody type that. Email only has an 18% open rate. So, honey, I strongly encourage you to utilize like email, text messaging, and Messenger. I was like, what's the other one? But we use Facebook Messenger now. That's a story for another day because they shut mine down. But anyway, and then the last phase of the journey on how we buy. And I think it's very important to share this before I tell you how to get the leads, because you need to understand the process that you're really taking people through. Okay. The last phase is the conversion phase. This is where the sale takes place. So conversion is where you actually take a prospect and convert them into a client. Hence conversion, right? So with that being said, this is the platform that you're going to be utilizing, typically a webinar. Some people call them masterclass. And this is where you'll be offering the opportunity to work with you. So this is where you can offer the opportunity to sell your program, for you to sell your course. Now, let me give you some inside scoop on the webinars. A product under $1,000 can be very successful on a live webinar and an automated webinar. Y'all jot this down in your notes. Anything under $1,000, you could totally sell it, and you can put the webinar on evergreen. You can have an evergreen webinar. You can sell a $297 product, a $497 product, a $997 product, and it can be evergreen, meaning you could literally be driving traffic to this evergreen webinar and making sales. Beautiful. Beautiful, right? Can't lose here. It's a win-win situation. Now, when your product or your price point is above $1,000, what we have found is that a 60-minute, maybe even a 90-minute webinar is not really a lot of time for the person to get to know you to sell anything over $1,000. Now, if this is a warm market, my friends, if this is a warm market, then yes, there's a better chance of you selling a product over $2,000 if this is a warm market. Now, we hosted like a boot camp or webinar clinic this past weekend, and it was 3 hours. And so we sold a $3,000 program. Typically, you would want to have a conversation. So we're doing a follow-up Q&A because there are some, people do have questions about it. So anything over $2,000 typically has a sales conversation that goes with it. It's just the way that it is, right? And I've seen $5,000 programs sold in 4 hours. I've seen $40,000 programs sold in a 4-hour period. Well, actually, it's a 6-hour period if you include the Q&A session that follows after. So there is a time frame that's equivalent to the price point that I'm noticing. So remember, under 60 minutes, less than $1,000, you Gucci. Do they still say that? You Gucci. And you can put that webinar on Evergreen and you're good. Okay. All right. So that is the journey. All right. So let me go ahead and let me give you the math and then we'll come back. All right. I'm going to give you the math on how to generate 240 leads. You ready? You ready? Raise your hand. You can type yes, type I'm ready underneath. All right. Now I did post this earlier today. And so let me see if I can find it. I'm going to read it because I ain't sitting here finna do this math all over again. Okay. All right. So listen, I posted a graphic earlier today and I'm going to show you, number one, I'm going to show you how to do 120 and then you just double the math. All right. So let's think about it. If you committed to do one webinar per week and you were committed to get 30 people to register for that one webinar every single week, let's just say for the next 30 to 45 days, even 60 days. And the reason why I say just the next 30 to 45 days is because I at least want you to get started. You ain't got to get it right. You just got to get it going. Okay. And so at least if you get it going and you start to receive the results, then you're more apt to continue that process throughout the rest of the year, throughout the next 12 months. And so you do the math. So you pull out your calculator, you pull out your cell phone. I don't even care if you get a little piece of paper and you write on a piece of paper and you carry the one. But we're getting ready to do some math. All right. So if 30 people actually registers for your webinar, it's 4 weeks in a month. That's 120 leads a month. Now, granted, if you are only relying on email reminders for them to show up to your webinar, you can guarantee that only 30 to 40% of your ideal client or only 30 to 40% of the people that registered for your webinar is actually going to show up. I mean, that's just the way that it is. 30 to 40% is industry standard. Type this in the comments below. Yep. Open rate of email is 18%. So 30 to 40% is the standard show rate. But listen, in my class, I show them how to get 40 to 50%. But we're going to stick with the 30 to 40%. Now, so just with the 30 to 40%, you can estimate that about 36 to 48 people you're going to be in front of 36 to 48 people every month. How many of you are currently in front of at least 50 people a month minimum? Some of you are not. Some of you have more. All right. So 36 to 48. All right. We're going to say 40 to 50. I don't know about y'all, but I like round numbers. So we can hopefully not have to carry the one. Okay. So 30 to 40 people, right? 40 to 50 people. I'm sorry. Here's where the magic happens. So do me a favor. If you have a product that you're selling, I want you to put the price point of the product down below. If you are if you're watching me live, I want you to put the price point of the product down below in the comments so I can see. Some of you have $697, some have $997, and some have greater. All right. So I see A Marie. I think yours is what, $697 or $997? I can't remember. Don't judge me. All right. So let's just say, for the sake of the exercise, that it's $997. All right. And if you are coming in front of 48 prospects, and I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt that you're going to do a close rate of 20%. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. 20%. 20%. Now listen, if I get on the phone, I'm closing 33%. I've done enough sales calls that I know my close rate. I'm closing at least 33%. If I'm doing a 3-hour to 4-hour workshop, I'm going to do more like 40%. If I'm doing a webinar and it's live, typically it's about 3 to 5%. Let me show you where you pick up the rest of your sales, y'all. It's on the back end. It's in the follow-up. And a lot of you guys don't do the follow-up. That's a whole nother training. Matter of fact, that's going to be my next training. Follow-up from webinars. I'm writing that down. All right, so that 20% of 48, I have about 10 people a month, okay? So 10 people a month at $9.97, y'all do the math. Y'all do the math. That's close to like $9,500. Let's just round up and say 10K. And I know most of the people that I come in contact with, they want to do a minimum of $10,000 per month in their business. Like that's always like the first step of where they want to be. So they typically want to do $10,000 a month. I just gave you the blueprint of how to generate $10,000 a month in your business. All right, now let's multiply by 2. So instead of, doing one webinar a week, what if you did 2 webinars a week? Or what if you doubled the 30 people to 60 people? I know some of y'all gonna have to watch the replay because we're doing math. You don't really necessarily have a visual. Y'all probably like, oh my God, right? All right, but stay with me. So if you were to do 60 people attending, right, that's equivalent to about 72 to 96 prospects. And again, I'm going to stay with the 20% close rate. Is that good? Good? Yes or yes? Now, we're going to still say that your product is about $1,000. So if you're closing 19 sales, y'all, somebody type 19 or 20, whatever. That's close to $20,000 a month in your business. And as you can see, I'm literally giving you the blueprint of how to get it done. Like it's not super complicated. You just actually have to put the system in place to get it done. Like I said, you don't have to get it right. You just got to get it going. And so one of the first things that I said when we first started the training or the video was, this is it's an educational journey. So when you're doing your webinar, you have to do it from a perspective where you are teaching people. And I really don't care what industry that you are in. It works for whatever industry. So for an example, if you are in, what is it? Financial, like life insurance. If you're in the life insurance industry and you're a financial advisor, you could easily do a webinar. I hope y'all paying attention. You could easily do a webinar on how to have your business pay for your life insurance. Like, would anybody attend that? Like, I would totally attend a webinar on how to have my business pay for my life insurance. And what it does is it adds to your expense. Like it's a line item on your expense report. What? Can we say Gucci again? Like, come on. Like, and how many of you, like under the sound of my voice, how many of you actually knew that? How many knew that your business can pay for your life insurance? There's a webinar for my financial people. I mean, even realtors, like I'm just giving you examples. So if you're if you're watching me or if you're listening, like send me a message or comment comment below, regardless whether you're watching it live or if you're watching it a replay, like tell me what it is that you do. Because you could literally, for my realtors, right? Here's what I thought about, because I don't know if y'all know, I used to be a loan officer, so I know a lot about the mortgage industry. And so you could easily do a webinar on what is it? What did I say? You could easily do a webinar on how to read your HUD-1 statement to make sure that you're not getting overcharged, right? Because, you need to understand, or how to understand the numbers on your HUD-1 statement when you're buying a house, so you can know what you're paying for. so you can understand like what it's going to cost me and what it means. And so that way, listen, if you can position a webinar to eliminate questions that people have before they work with you, it's a beautiful thing. Like, I don't know how many people that are listening that are actually buying a house, but would you participate in a webinar that helps you? And a Hub One statement is the actual, it's the paper that you have to sign when you're actually getting a loan, because it tells you all of the fees that's going to be rolled into your loan that you're going to be paying for 15 years or 30 years. Do you want to know? I mean, I do. I would. Now, granted, I was like 23 when I purchased my first home. So, I probably just did one of these numbers. What you want? You sign right here? Oh, okay. Sign right here. And, we don't want to do that. So regardless of what industry you're in, I want you to make sure that you are educating your audience, educate your prospective client, right? So this is what we consider to be education-based marketing. And it's the process of which you are here to help a prospect make a buying decision. You teach them why they should be using your vehicle, whatever your vehicle may be. You could be an SEO specialist. You could be a life coach, business coach, consultant, digital marketing, sex coach, relationship coach, event planner. It does not matter. Every person has a product that they are selling, and it's up to you to educate them. So if I do have a free gift if you want to do a webinar, right? If you've never done one or if you want to monetize it. If you go to the webinarchecklist.com, I'm going to try to type it. And the webinarchecklist.com, you can get access. I have a free tool that kind of gets you started. It's an outline to tell you, what you need to have in place in order to get your first webinar going. And it does answer some of the questions. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to comment, to ask, what have you. But I definitely want to make sure that I did give that free gift away. We are doing a 3-day webinar in a weekend. So if you're interested, you can hit me in a DM. You can slide in the back channel, whatever is comfortable enough for you. But we are having a call at 4 p.m. about the upcoming webinar in the weekend. Those that are joining will have a full webinar funnel set up by the time we finish or complete the 3-day webinar in the weekend. All right. So one of the last things that I want to share before I sign out is some numbers that I want to share with you. Now, I call it it's a target market pyramid, and it's all based on educational based marketing. Let me see something real quick. So how many of you are running ads? Anybody running ads? So when you run ads, you're running ads to the 3 to 5% of people that are willing, ready, and able to buy. And I don't know if you remember that I was just sharing that when you do a live webinar converts typically at 3 to 5%, but you pick up the rest of the money on the back end side. Are you noticing the consistency with the numbers? So typically, regardless of the audience that you're speaking to, 3 to 5% of them are ready, willing, and able to buy. That's just it's just statistics, y'all. I'm just teaching you what's out there. So there's another 7% of people that are open to your vehicle. So let me explain that to you in kind of my world. There are 7% of people that are open to using webinars in their business, right? But they're just waiting to hear from me, right? They're joining and for me to educate them on, well, how can I monetize it? How can I get leads? And what can I do in order to make this work for me? So they're open to it. They haven't said no, but they just need help from me to educate them on, listen, this is the route that you need to take. But then you have 30% of people that's not even thinking about it, period, point blank. And I want you to raise your hand or comment me below if you're like, you know what, I've heard about this thing called webinars, but I really never thought about doing them. But listening to you, DeKesha, wow, I can generate 240 leads a month just hosting webinars. That's just the way it is. And it's the same thing in your industry. There's people that are not thinking about using SEO. There's people that's not thinking about, being an author, whatever it may be. Then there is 30% that don't even believe that they're interested. Those are the people that are like, nah, I don't think it's going to work for me. Nah, that's not for me. I see the big gurus, the influencers, they're doing it. They can have it, but it's not for me. But then when they get under the sound of your voice, when they get into your space, right? And then you educate them, then they start to go, well, what she's teaching is making sense. What Sonia is talking about, what Dr. Stevie is talking about is really making sense. I might need to have a conversation with them to be able to utilize their products and their services so I can do the same thing in my business. So here's what's happening. We are marketing to the 3 to 5% of those people that are ready because we always want to hear a yes. We want to market to the people that's going to automatically tell us yes, instead of marketing to the 67% of the people that are waiting for us to educate them as to why they need our products and services. Come on, somebody. I'm just here to teach. So I need you to write that down. Market to the 67% of the people that they probably don't even know that you exist. There are some people, this is the first time that they are hearing the sound of my voice. This is the first time that they are seeing my face. Even if they're watching live, listening to the replay or whatever, they're going to go through and they're going to go, wow, I never thought about it that way. So I challenge you to think about what could you teach on your very own webinar that you could educate to the 67%. Notice I ain't say the 3% because you can run an ad to the 3% and easily make money like that. Nah, baby. If you really want to scale your business, let's focus on speaking to the 67% of those people that are open to your vehicle, that are not really thinking about utilizing your vehicle, whether it's whatever we discussed earlier, what I said, financial advisors, SEO, visibility, real estate, all of that. They're not really thinking about it. It's up to you to educate them. It's up to you to educate them. So I'm going to open it up for Q&A. All right, we're going to open it up for Q&A. I am on Clubhouse, so I'm going to shut down. I'm going to sign off on my visual, my live streams. So, and then you guys can join the conversation in Clubhouse. Just look me up. It's DE_Kesha, DeKesha C. Williams. You can actually search Webinar Queen, y'all. You can search Webinar Queen on any platform. 9 times out of 10, you're going to find me. And I did that on purpose. All right, so my name is DeKesha Williams, your virtual COO. Be passionate, be purposeful, but more importantly, be profitable. I got all these things up. Okay.